when resilience becomes revolution, the untold power of persistence. Have you ever been told no so many times that you started to believe it was the only answer you'd ever hear? I recently had the extraordinary privilege of interviewing Melissa Bryant, a visionary whose insights on entrepreneurship, resilience, and equity have fundamentally transformed how we understand success in the face of systemic barriers. Her powerful perspective on the journey of Black entrepreneurs, particularly Black women, offers us a masterclass in what it truly means to persist when everything and everyone seems determined to stand in your way. Melissa isn't just another voice in the entrepreneurial landscape. She is a force of nature who has dedicated her life to dismantling barriers and creating pathways where none existed before. Her work has ignited a movement that challenges us to reconsider what's possible when determination meets opportunity. Through her advocacy, mentorship, and fearless truth telling, she has empowered countless individuals to transform their dreams into reality, even when the odds seemed insurmountable. The conversation with Melissa left me with a profound truth that I can't stop thinking about. Sometimes the most revolutionary act is simply refusing to quit. Let's be honest, we live in a world that loves to celebrate overnight success stories. The college dropout who builds a $1 billion tech company from their garage, the influencer who goes viral and wakes up to 1 million followers. These narratives are seductive because they make success seem magical, effortless, a lightning strike of good fortune. But what about the stories that don't fit this template? What about the entrepreneurs who face rejection after rejection, who mortgage their homes multiple times, who are told their ideas aren't viable, their markets aren't valuable, their voices aren't needed? These are the stories Melissa Bryant illuminated, stories of Black entrepreneurs who understand that resilience isn't just a nice quality to have, it's the difference between survival and surrender. Consider Kathy Hughes, born in segregation era Omaha. In 1947, Hughes became a mother as a teenager. In a world that was quick to write her off, she might have accepted the limited options society presented her. Instead, she saw possibility where others saw impossibility. Hughes founded what would become Urban One, now the largest African American broadcasting company in the world. But this achievement wasn't a straight line to success. As a single mother in a predominantly white industry, she faced racial profiling, gender bias, financial hardship, and skepticism from advertisers who didn't believe Black audiences were worth investing in. When banks refused to fund her vision, Hughes didn't take no for an answer. She mortgaged her home not once, but multiple times to keep her business afloat. She slept in the radio station, sometimes with her young son, because she couldn't afford both a home and her business. Can you imagine that level of commitment? That's not just dedication, that's revolutionary persistence. Today, Urban One empowers millions through radio stations across major US cities. Kathy's net worth stands at $460 million. She became the first African American woman to head a publicly traded company and owns over 50 radio stations. But here's what's truly remarkable about Hugh's story. She didn't just build a business, she created a platform that has shaped public discourse on race relations while uplifting countless voices within the Black community. Her resilience wasn't just about personal success, it was about creating space for an entire community to be heard. As Melissa Bryant emphasized in our conversation, resilience is your greatest asset. When the journey gets difficult, and it will get difficult, persistence becomes the critical difference between those who make it and those who don't. This truth is echoed in the story of Jessica Matthews, founder of Uncharted Power. During childhood visits to Nigeria, Matthews experienced firsthand the challenges of energy poverty. Rather than accepting this as an unchangeable reality, she invented socket, a soccer ball that generates electricity when played with. Just think about that for a moment. While others saw children playing soccer in communities without reliable electricity, Matthew saw an opportunity to transform play into power, literally. That's the kind of visionary thinking that changes worlds. Matthews faced the intersectional challenges of being both a woman and a person of color, seeking venture capital in tech spaces dominated by men. She had to prove market viability for renewable energy solutions aimed at underserved communities, communities that traditional investors often overlook or undervalue. But Matthews didn't just have technical acumen from Harvard Business School. She had something perhaps even more powerful: authentic storytelling rooted in lived experience. She leveraged her family's struggles with unreliable power to communicate not just the problem she was solving, but why it mattered. Today, uncharted power has expanded beyond socket into broader infrastructure projects powering off grid communities worldwide. Matthews has been named to Forbes' 30 under 30, secured millions in funding despite VC disparities, and patented multiple clean energy technologies used globally. Her story illustrates the second key insight from my conversation with Melissa Bryant: community and authenticity fuel success. Building businesses rooted in cultural authenticity, community engagement, and genuine storytelling leads to sustainable impact and growth. But let's be clear about something. The stories of Kathy Hughes and Jessica Matthews are extraordinary, not just because of what these women achieved, but because of what they had to overcome to achieve it. The hard truth, the truth that Melissa Bryant refuses to shy away from, is that the playing field is not level, not even close. At the recent Black Founder Weekend Dallas, entrepreneurs confronted stark realities. Black founders receive less than 1% of venture capital nationally, despite being America's fastest growing entrepreneurial group. Black owned businesses earn significantly less revenue than white owned peers, not because of any difference in talent or determination, but because of systemic barriers to access, funding, and opportunity. This isn't just disappointing, it's economically irrational. Think about it. We're systematically underinvesting in one of our most dynamic entrepreneurial communities. We're leaving innovation, job creation, and economic growth on the table because of biases built into our systems. This brings us to the third critical insight from my conversation with Melissa: equitable access matters. Fight for it. The fight for fair access to resources, funding, and opportunities is ongoing. Black entrepreneurs must continue pushing boundaries while demanding equity from broader systems. What made the Black Founder Weekend Dallas so powerful wasn't just conversation, it was action. The event prioritized actionable connections between founders and funders, facilitating deal making sessions designed around closing opportunity gaps. It generated six figures worth of new contracts and funding agreements on site, equipping attendees not just with motivation, but with practical tools and relationships. This is what fighting for equitable access looks like in practice. It's not just about identifying the problem, it's about creating solutions, building networks, and demanding change. So, what does all this mean for you? Maybe you're an entrepreneur facing your own set of barriers. Maybe you're working within systems that weren't designed with you in mind. Maybe you're simply someone who has a dream that seems impossible in the face of all the obstacles before you. Whatever your circumstance, the wisdom Melissa Bryant shared offers three powerful truths to carry with you. First, your resilience is not just a personality trait, it's your most valuable asset. When you face rejection, when doors close, when the path forward seems impossible to find, remember Kathy Hughes sleeping in her radio station, mortgaging her home again and again because she refused to let her vision die. Your persistence is not stubbornness, it's the foundation of your future success. Second, your community and your authentic story are not separate from your business strategy. They are your business strategy. Jessica Matthews didn't succeed despite her connection to the community she served. She succeeded because of it. Your lived experience, your cultural knowledge, your authentic voice, these are not liabilities to overcome, but assets to leverage. And third, the fight for equitable access is not a distraction from your work. It is your work. When you push against systems that weren't built for you, when you create spaces where others like you can thrive, when you demand that the rules of the game be fair for everyone, you're not just building your own success. You're creating possibility for all who will come after you. As the organizers of Black Founder Weekend Dallas recognized, our struggles may be individual, but our power is collective. When we unite, when we support each other, when we refuse to accept the limitations others place on us, we become unstoppable. I want to leave you with a challenge that Melissa Bryant posed during our conversation. Look at whatever obstacle stands before you today, then take one bold step forward anyway. Whether you're applying for funding you fear you won't get, or sharing your story where it hasn't been heard before, choose action over resignation every time. Because here's what I know for certain after speaking with Melissa: the world needs your voice, it needs your vision, it needs your persistence in the face of every no you hear. And when the journey gets difficult, when you're tempted to believe that the barriers before you are insurmountable, remember the words of Audre Lorde. When I dare to be powerful, to use my strength in the service of my vision, then it becomes less and less important whether I am afraid. Your resilience isn't just about survival, it's revolutionary. In a world designed to make some of us doubt our worth, our capabilities, our right to dream big, the act of persisting becomes an act of rebellion. Your refusal to be diminished, to be silenced, to be limited by others' expectations isn't just personal, it's political. So today, I'm asking you to join this revolution of resilience, not just for yourself, but for all those who will walk the path you're clearing. When you push through barriers, you're not just advancing your own journey, you're dismantling obstacles for those who will follow. This is how transformation happens, not through grand gestures or overnight success, but through the quiet, consistent courage of those who refuse to quit, through the revolutionary power of persistence. Stand up, speak up, show up again and again and again, because your persistence isn't just changing your story, it's rewriting the narrative for generations to come. The revolution begins with your refusal to give up. And that, my friends, is the most powerful force for change we have.